here.
As we listen to Spencer in his docile tones, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SWBL podcast. I am Sam Skibbe, the commissioner of the SWBL, joined by, first I will introduce Mr. Spencer Bogad. Spencer, you want to introduce yourself in the way you always do?
Hey, I'm Spencer, formerly of the Royals, formerly of the Phillies, and now on the Twins, and formerly of the Indians.
Yes, the Indians was your first team in the franchise era.
Welcome to this great Sunday night that we have planned.
Spencer, you are a three-time SWBL champion, is that correct?
Yes.
Wow, congratulations. That's really cool. And
Thanks.
two
When's
of
the last
them.
time you won, Sam?
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. It's old news after that. And speaking of up and comers in this sport, going to hopefully get an SWBL championship soon enough, and gaining a lot of popularity around the country. Cam Smith, everybody, and we only ask Cam here because we know other people will listen if Cam is on it. So, Cam, what do you want to tell the people out there? Introduce yourself, how you're affiliated with the SWBL team and everything like that.
Oh yeah, play for the Astros. We're a up and coming team. So looking to make some noise this next year.
We met Cam, Spencer, at an indoor tournament at Sports Barn. They were one of our division sponsors back in the day, only for 1 year because we helped run that tournament. And Cam was in the finals versus Scott Poley's team, and Scott Poley hit a game-winning home run off of Cam in the finals. And
I think I gave up a few that game.
Yeah, it was just different rules. You weren't quite used to them yet. So, but we were so glad that we met you that day, Cam, and we got along with you and your team, and we were so excited that you could join us. And now you're one of our very close friends and very close teammates, and we love having you around. So thanks again, both of you, to joining us, and to everybody else that is listening to this podcast. We are going to start off doing a little bit of SWBL talk. It is our home league here in St. Louis, and we are a medium pitch league. We have 9 teams. Last year, we only had 8 because of the pandemic, but I am happy to say we'll be back at 9 teams in 2021. And we actually don't know when the next season will fall. It could either be from our winter meeting. We said either Memorial Day weekend, July 4th weekend, or Labor Day weekend. So the same thing that we went through last year with the pandemic. This year, it's going to kind of the same thing. We're kind of going to play it by feel. And coming out soon to all of our player base that's watching, we will be having a player survey to see what you are interested in the most, whether that be putting all of our eggs in the Memorial Day basket, and even if it is kind of a socially distant event like it was last year, you can, or if we want to keep pushing it back to hopefully get back to normal. I think people miss the pool, the porta potties, and of course being together. So we want to thank all of our sponsors as well. We'll thank them now and at the end, but we'd like to thank our sponsors from last year, and we hope that you continue to be our sponsors this year. But last year we had some amazing sponsors, and thank you so much for making our season 18 one of the best it's been, even despite the social distancing rules we had in place. But Cardinal Blinds, Spencer, thank you so much again for your company, being one of our loyal division sponsors, and Glendale Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, Ketting Associates, Ketting Eye Center, a fantastic, it's where I get my glasses from. In the Castellano family, Reuben Brown, Breck X, Spencer Gear, Cooper's Hawk Winery, Andy's Frozen Custard, Daly's Smokehouse Barbecue, and of course, Dick's Sporting Goods. We wouldn't be able to do all of our weekend without Dick's Sporting Goods. So thank you to all of our loyal sponsors. First thing we're going to do, guys, we are going to talk about the 9 teams that are coming back this year for 2021. Last year, we had the Braves. I have my Atlanta Hawks hat on to start off here, and the Braves consisted of the Royals and the Athletics joined together. 2 from each team joined together. We had the 1 seed last year in the playoffs, and we all know how it ended. We lost to Jimmy Nelson, just like everybody else except for the Astros. So congratulations, yes, to Cam and the Astros, the only team that didn't lose to the Expos last year. But we lost to Jimmy Nelson, and we thought we were going to make some noise, with Paul Castellano, Steve Hayes, and the Skibbe brothers, myself and Gus. But the Braves will be no more. One and done year. Obviously, the Royals and Athletics will be back. Their full teams back in action. And then also we are giving a sad depart officially to the SWBL Diamondbacks. As many people might know, this league has always been about the local connections, that local connection that you have to know a Skibbe in some way. And the front office and our player base really wanted to get back to that. That doesn't mean that players around the country can't, sign up and a team could draft them, or a free agent could come along, and you are welcome to join us and try your luck to get into one of these franchises. But We will not have a team anymore that is fully dedicated to the national scene like we have with the Diamondbacks. But Trent and Austin, we are so excited, are going to be coming back, and they're going to put their names out there in the free agent pool. And we'll get to that in just a little bit later on. But with all these teams, we had to have a new team. And last year we had the SWBL Marlins. Eli Erickson and Luke Bakula Luke Bakula joined the SWBL Marlins and all of his friends, and we were so excited to have them. Spencer, what can you say about the SWBL Marlins? Just being the franchise of the year last year, but a great bunch of guys. I know they went 0-10, but what can you say about these guys?
The only experience I had with them was on Monday. It was the day I came back from my trip away. But what I can tell you is they were really fun to be around. Young guys, they probably lowered our league average age by a couple of years just by having, 5 or 6 guys of that younger age. Led by Luke Bakula, who has been one of the stable, players that we're always just kind of waiting to break through. So maybe being around some of his friends and younger guys, maybe being on more athletic team than the actual athletics, which he came from, that might bring out more out of Luke. So I saw some really good things. I honestly couldn't tell you any of their names, but there was a guy on their team that looked – he just needed some more reps. As we know, when players first play in our league, that first year is usually learning curve. That second year, third year, they usually do a lot better. So I'm not expecting them to go 0-10 next year. I think they're going to be a good addition, and it's really nice to have a new team to add to the mix. So.
And Cam, Sam Rudnick was the guy I think Spencer was talking about, the really good leadoff hitter for them. And your brother Cam was our SWBL Rookie of the Year, and also is nominated for the West Region Rookie of the Year as well, coming up for the Wiffle Awards. That'll be announced, I think, tomorrow. All those regional events are going to be coming out on Monday of this work week. But Cam, talk about, this team. I know you played them, and I know you guys obviously beat them. They went 0-10. You got to play them twice, them being in your division, correct? Or was it just the once?
No, we just played them once.
Well, when you played them just the once, obviously, you guys did beat them. They went 0-10, but do you expect them to be better than 0-10? Or do you expect them, they still got maybe 1 or 2 years among them to get that learning curve? Like, you've been a part of this for 2 years now. You kind of see how it goes. But, with the Expos winning the championship, it's kind of like fair game, like anything can happen. So how do you think this team's going to fare next year?
Yeah, I definitely think they'll be better. Look at what the Astros did. We've been kind of struggling every year until last year. I think we almost eclipsed our total wins for like the first 3 or 4 years. So the more playing experience they're going to get, they're going to be good guys. What I'm looking forward to, though, is hopefully, we don't have to social distance as much.
Sure.
And we can really get to know those guys a little bit more. Because I talked to them right after our game and right before I kind of left for the weekend. And they were just a great group of guys. Like, I really enjoyed just having just a small, it was like 5-10 minute conversation. But, I really just enjoyed it, and looking forward to like actually getting to know them more, and then hopefully them getting better just like the rest of us.
I'm going to start us off with this next activity that we're going to be doing, this first segment we're going to be doing with this. And I led you guys into the Marlins for a reason, because we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. And for the SWBL Marlins, we're going to go through, since it is the new year, our New Year's resolutions, our goals for each franchise. I know you guys kind of talked about the Marlins a little bit, and you can you can just say a quick sentence for a goal. You don't have to explain it if you don't want to, or you can give a little bit of an explanation to why you say that if it needs one. But I'm going to kind of take what you guys said, and I'm going to say my goal for the Marlins. And if you guys want to jump in with a goal after me, you can. But my goal for the Marlins, I think, next year is to loosen up a little bit and have a little fun. And like Cam said, hopefully we won't be social distant. Hopefully they can get their feet wet, and understanding it's more about having the fun and staying loose and getting to know people rather than winning some games. But I think the winning will come. So I think loosening up is going to be my goal for the Marlins. They got down on themselves a little bit when they were losing games, and going 0-10 is always tough. And they are nominated for the Dangerfield Worst Team in America award for the Whiffies. But it is still going to be something where they're going to have to get their feet wet and get that experience. So to get their first win, I think they first have to loosen up. Any other goals you guys want to add to the mix?
I would say this sounds like an attack on them, but I would seriously say goal is win a game.
Yep.
Win a game. Take it one game at a time. That would, if I was 0-10, my goal would be win the first one. If you win that one, then make your new goal, make it 2 games.
You got to believe that was their New Year's resolution, right when the season ended last year from Labor Day was next year. We just got to win one.
How do you do that? Limit the errors and limit the strikeouts on offense. You'll probably win one.
And they were close. They had many games that they were 2 runs away, 3 runs away from really good teams. They kept good teams at bay a few times. So, it's just about getting those experience, like I said. All right, let's go on. And Cam, you're going to start us off because this is your team. So Cam, the SWBL Astros, what is your goal for your team? What do you think is going to be the goal going into season 19?
Our goal is to do something we've never done before, and that is make the playoffs. We were so close last year. I think there's even a video watching us get heartbroken with Germer's home run. But that's just our goal, and starts one game at a time. We were so close in so many games last year.
Yeah.
I think we lost, all but like 1 or 2 of our games in the last inning.
Or in home run derby.
In a home run derby.
You guys have also. It's been past 2 years in a row. You guys have lost in home run derby. So yeah, you've been so close.
Yeah, and we're excited. I definitely think we're once we get David back and we add another pitcher, like that's just going to save me and Jeremy. So I definitely think it's a feasible goal for us too. So it's everything's trending in the right direction, and we just got to put it all together.
And real quick before I move it on to Spencer, word on the street is Jeremy Worrell having shoulder issues. So he may be a little bit less, which just shows how important David Olderman's going to be to bolster your guys' rotation, and it's going to be a huge get for you guys in 2021. Spencer, what's going to be the Astros' goal heading into season 19?
I think I agree. I think if I was manager of that team, I think a goal would be maybe to switch things up a little bit. I think they've always added new players, but I think there's a couple things they need to probably try giving other people chances at different places, like in the batting order or in the field. Sometimes it's difficult to have those conversations with friends, but I wasn't there last year because I was out of town, but in years past, most of the Astros games come down to like 2 or 3 plays.
Yeah. And
that's what separates them from the really good teams is 2 or 3 plays. So, I would just say a goal would be try something new. That's what my goal would be. Because you have the players to win a game, it's clear. Maybe not dominantly, but win games. Just a couple plays away.
Yeah.
Hey, that's it.
I've said over and over again, so far, I know we're only 10 days into this year, but I've said over and over again at the end of last year and beginning of this year that I truly believe that 2021 will again be the most competitive year that we've ever had. And I think that gives a huge shout out to the Astros being such a huge contender. And yes, Cam, that video is heartbreaking of the Expos beating, I think it's the Twins, or they beat the Twins on the day Spencer wasn't there. And you guys, if the Twins would have won, your Monday would have mattered. And after that home run and the Twins lost, you guys were heartbroken for sure. And I was heartbroken for you. It was tough. You always want it to come down to Monday. You don't want it to be decided on Sunday. So, but anyway,
we still had fun though.
Oh yeah, no, it's always fun. And that's the best part about it is, you can't really control medium pitch as much as you can control fast pitch. Like it is really much a toss up. So, all right, let's finish up the bottom tier of this division draw. Division draw comes up in February. The third team in this tier, and if you're in the team with the tier, they obviously won't be in your division. So these 3 teams will be separated in the division. And the last one, the front office, talked about how they would handle the Royals athletics situation being with the Braves last year. And the Athletics are going to be moving into that 7th spot in the bottom tier. So with the Athletics coming in here, guys, this team has, in 2016, they went to a championship. They beat the 10-0 or 9-1 Royals to get to the championship for the first time ever. And everybody thought, okay, this is the craziest thing to happen, obviously, until the Expos won this year in the playoffs. But they were so close to winning a championship, and they've done it before. They've seen success, but lately it's been tough for the Athletics. And now with the absence of Luke Bakula, you got to believe something needs to be done for this A's franchise. Alex Heck right now is going to be coming back to the wiffle ball weekend, which means he has to be their team's fourth batter unless they find something else. So Spencer, what do you think is going to be the goal for the Athletics coming into season 19?
What was that, season 17? They made the playoffs?
16.
Okay. My goal for them would be get back to basics, get back to the old style that they played. I mean, they were just a scrappy bunch. It actually kind of reminds me of the Expos this year, except instead of the pitching, it was just like the timely hitting, and the timely defense they had. You know, people think of the SWBL as a hitter's league, which there's a ton of offense, but really to me, it's a defense league.
Yeah.
Because every game comes down to like one or two defensive plays. So if you're a team that makes errors, you're probably not going to win. And that's what the Astros did really, or I'm sorry, the Athletics did really well. They made it so far. Timely hits, and they played really good defense. So I would say get back to those basics.
Paul Castellano, one of the best fielders in our league, you know, he was second place in the left fielder Gold Glove conversation, and he also is a first team All-National for the National Wiffle fielding team. So yes, he's definitely going to be holding down left field for them, but yeah, they're going to have to find something to kind of complement what they have, because right now Paul's their only pitcher, so he can't play left field and pitch at the same time. So Cam, what do you think is going to be the Athletics' key to success? What's their goal for 2021?
Wake up on time.
Wake up.
But you know what? It actually worked for him.
It worked for him that time, but that's a great one to forgive. For Steve Hayes, you know, you got to forgive the kid, but he felt terrible. But I don't know, you weren't there, Spencer, that day, but he showed up. It was me, Gus, and Paul, and we had to play that game. Who was that against? Do you remember?
It was against us, the Astros.
Oh.
And I think he showed up in like the third inning, and then he hit he hit a couple of home runs, I think.
We lucked out that first inning, I remember, because me, Gus, and Paul all hit 2 home runs each. So we hit solo home runs. It was 3 solo home runs in a row, and then Steve was an out, and then 3 solo home runs. Steve was an out. So we got away with getting 6 in that first inning, and I think that's what helped us get there. But wake up on time. That's a great one to go off of. Very good. All right, guys, let's move on. Here's the second tier. First team in the second tier, and probably arguably the most successful SWBL franchise in the history of our league, is the SWBL Rockies under Captain Blake Spencer. They're the only team in history of our league to make the playoffs every single season of the franchise era. They, for the first time, were in the wild card game, first time ever in the wild card game, and they lost to obviously the Expos. Wild card game, guys, is becoming super important now that we are. And I apologize, I skipped the Yankees. The Yankees should be in this spot. I apologize. We're going to do the Yankees next. Rockies are 5th. Yankees are 6th. Yankees missed the playoffs last year, but I already moved on to the Rockies, so we're going to roll with it. But the SWBL Rockies, they have never, been in the wild card game, and they won. They've won multiple championships in the franchise era, but we're kind of getting back to them without Brett. We're seeing what it's going to be without Brett, and obviously Brett winning a championship with the Expos this year proved how valuable he is. But Spencer, let's start with you again for the Rockies. What's going to be their goal in 2021?
This isn't a shot at them, but I think they just have to hit better. I think that should be a goal for them. I think they pitched a lot better than people expected. I think for the most part, they played really good defense. I mean, how could you not? BK over there left. But I think they just got to hit better. Be looking through the stats of each one of those players. I personally thought Blake was going to have a hell of a year. I was touting him as
a lot of people were
as MVP.
He was on a lot of fantasy leagues teams. A lot of fantasy teams.
When you go from batting 5 batters to 4, that's 5 to 10 more at bats a guy. That can really change. So, anyways, I think they got to hit better. Each one of them. Every guy on the team's got to hit better. I think that should be their goal. And I think if they do, they're going to be right back up at the top. And they can, because they've done it.
Yeah, definitely. And they've won a championship without Brett before, so you know that they had success too. And Grant Boyd is returning, Cam, and he's a good bat that they need on the left side. So that will be that fourth batter that the Rockies do need. But Cam, do you have anything to add to a goal for season 19?
No, I think I really agree with Spencer here. It's really all about timely hitting too. You got to put all the at bats together. Especially when you lose one of your best pitchers, you really have to make those at bats count. So, you just got to come up with those big hits. Same with It's kind of a trend. You see that with the top tier and the bottom tier teams.
Yeah. And that moves us to the SWBL Yankees. And I apologize, I mixed the two up, but the Yankees winning a championship just 2 years ago. They won a championship the year before that. They went 9-1 and were the 2 seed. The only reason they were the 2 seed and not the 1 seed is because there was a team that was 10-0. So going 9-1 and then having a down year and then winning a championship and then again having a down year. This is the Yankees MO. Like Spencer, you know this. We talked about this over and over again, how the Yankees will make the playoffs and make a huge run, and the very next year they'll miss the playoffs or they'll lose in the wild card game. And this happened unbelievably. Went 4-6. It's the only losing record they've ever had. They've been 500 or they've been above. First losing record for this franchise, but let's talk about that, Spencer. What's got to be their goal to turn this around?
I think their goal has to be to just be chill. They put so much pressure on themselves. They are at their best when they're coming off a crappy season. That's why I fully expect them to be probably top or 2-3 team this year.
Yeah.
You could go through each player, but I think they individually each try to put the whole weight of proving that, we are a good team again, proving what we just did last year, and they each put so much pressure on themselves and they kind of just fall flat on that. I think obviously they're a really good team. They have probably the second or third best pitcher in the whole league, which you gotta have that. They've got good leadership. They've got a stud hitter like Scott Poley. But I think there's so much pressure on themselves to prove that they are, that dominant.
Were you about to say Scott Bakula?
Huh?
Were you about to say Scott Bakula?
No.
Quantum Leap. They should sign him, though. They should sign him.
Yeah, I was.
I knew you were. All right. And Cam, they have John Callaway coming back. That's another lefty bat. But it's funny because, we all know Jackson, he's on our national team with us, but Jackson had the best offensive performance out of anybody on the Yankees. But John Callaway is coming back to take at bat. So Cam, what's going to be the goal? Knowing all of that, but what's the goal for the Yankees?
Yeah, it's funny to say that because I was just looking at it. I was like, my goal was going to be, well, let Jackson swing it. I think he hit 18 home runs last year, which is a pretty good number, especially when, it was somebody that we didn't expect to put on that kind of performance. But, they kind of remind me of the San Francisco Giants. And I think that's, that should be their motto, and that's their goal is, do what they did, win a championship every other year. Like that's, starts now and there you go.
Spencer, I think I agree with you. I think that they might be the most dangerous second tier team because they have, they don't really have anything to prove this year. There's not the reigning champs. They're not the number 1 seed. They don't have the curse on them this year. Like they can just kind of play under the radar and hopefully
not in the Twins division anymore. 3 years in a row. They were with us.
The Rockies, Twins, and Yankees will be separated. And thank you for the segue, Spencer, because yes, indeed, the Twins are the fourth place last year, and your team, Spencer. So since it's your team, let's start with Cam. So I want him to give some insight first. But this Twins team, Cam, in my opinion, were the best top to bottom with 5 players last year. And you just it couldn't come all together. Spencer wasn't there for half a season. Such an important player, and Spencer's still winning MVP, just 6 games, but his numbers speak for themselves. And as Spencer, you continued it at the national tournament and you still continued to hit. And every year it seems like you get better when a lot of people, when they get older, they get worse. But this team is always stacked on many sides of the ball. But Cam, what's going to be the Twins, goal coming into season 19 when they want to get back to the glory of being in first place? And this is a team that has won championships. Chris Metter has won 5 championships in the franchise era. Like, it's just an unheard of thing. So what's it going to take for them to get back in the first tier, and what's their goal?
I would say, goal is to pitch better. They got the bats in the lineup. They got one of the best fielders in the league. Everything is sound, but and nothing against their pitching. They were actually my pick preseason to win the whole thing last year. So,
yeah.
And then they broke my heart. But yeah, I mean, when you got Spencer hitting, and having him there the whole year is really going to help out too. So, we just got to put together some good pitching performances, and their hitting is going to speak for themselves. So.
Yeah, and Spencer, you and Will have always been kind of those 1 and 2 pitchers, but this year, Ed Lodonin making a name for himself on the mound, and you actually predicted that at the beginning of the year, and the front office made a lot of fun of you because you predicted him to be second in Cy Wiffle, and I think he finished like top 6 or 5 in Cy Wiffle. So, Spencer, what's going to be your team's goal coming into this? Have you guys talked about it, or what's going to be your goal? What's the mindset around the clubhouse right now for the Twins?
We have not talked about it, but we all know our biggest flaw is when playoffs come around, offense goes in the tank. We still make plays in the field. We still pitch pretty decent. We pitch good enough to win games, I guess I would say. It's never dominant. But if you looked at our average runs per game in the regular season, I've never done this analysis. I'm sure this is what it says. Look at our average runs per game in the regular season compared to the playoffs, which I'm sure for most teams it is, but I'm sure it's 25.
Sure.
Just as a team, we just don't hit well in the playoffs. So really, to me, that's the difference. In the years that we've won, we just hit the snot off the ball in the playoffs, So I think that's really what we need. We've never missed the playoffs. We feel like we know the games we need to win. We feel like we do well in those games. We're always right around 6 or 7 wins, which is what you need. But it really comes down to playoff hitting. So that's it. I mean, for me, that's it.
And consistently, Chris Metter has proved he's, the clutch player in the playoffs, and, in the past. But the past couple of years, you're right. It's been that Twins MO has been that you pitch well enough. And it seems like all pitching gets elevated a little bit in the playoffs. People are a little more serious on Monday, and hitting seems to falter. But I think that's a good goal for the Twins. And, on paper, you're probably still going to be the best team looking in. And like Cam said, you guys were my pick to win it too last year too. So. All right, guys, that brings us to the top tier. And our top tier looks a little different than it has in the past. 2 of these teams in the top tier haven't been in the top for 4 years since the Brewers have been in the top. But we're going to get to them in a second, but we're going to start with 3rd place. And the front office decided, the Braves got 3rd place, and Gus and I were a big part of that. So the Royals fall in the 3 spot this year. So the SWBL Royals are returning. This is kind of like the Athletics, only 2 of these players have played. And this is a team that it's been what would we call it? A wheel, that 4th player has been a broken wheel, Spencer. I don't know. Yeah. And it keeps turning over a new player every time. And they've had Mike Boyles, and Corey McCarthy, who goes to the Twins. And it seems like every time a Royals player goes somewhere else, they end up winning a championship. So Corey McCarthy is destined to win a championship coming up here soon. But the Royals have had the curse more times than we can count. And the Royals have right now Sam and Gus, and Ty Butler is seemingly coming back. We'll talk about free agents in a second, but the only place Ty would play would probably be with Gus. So you got to believe Ty Butler's going to be there. And there's a lot of rumors swirling about the 4th spot that's going to be taken up. Austin and Trent are, big names that will probably be pulled to a team that knows some of these other guys, and the Royals have a need for that 4th spot too. And then there's other people that have in the past wanted to play SWBL. Leon Cherry is somebody that is coming back, and a possibility in the draft. So all these things could happen, but I assume I know one of your goals is going to be for this team, but Cam, we'll start with you. You know, the Royals have always kind of been almost that big brother. It seems like against the Astros. You guys got one win against them, but that's it. You know, it's like you can't get over that hump and consistently get those wins. Or just let's be honest, against Gus, because it's always Gus that ends up beating you guys in the 2 different home run derbies that we've played against you guys in the past couple of years. But so Cam, what's going to be the Royals' goal this year, having known that they haven't been a franchise last year and only Gus and Sam have played?
Yeah, I mean, my goal would be just to stick to what you guys do best. And I mean, both, you know, you and Gus both are stellar on the mound. You're both stellar at the plate. Stick to what you do best. You know, whoever that third and fourth guy is, you know, it's real easy to follow in your guys' footsteps when you guys are always putting on good performances. So, you know, you guys get it started, and it makes it a lot easier for the third and fourth guys to fit right in, and no matter who they are. But you know, it just kind of rolls from there.
Yeah. And Spencer, you know, Cam just said it too, that third and fourth guy are so important on teams. And when you have, you know, Gus and I who can hopefully make consistent performances like Cam was saying, but when one of us has a down season or a down game, that third and fourth spot comes so crucial. There were so many times where Steve Hayes, who did not hit well this season, but had huge clutch moments for the Braves to be, you know, to help us to victory in a few places. You know, what is the Royals' goal in all of this? And, you know, is that how important is that third and fourth player?
I think it's hugely important. I think, you know, teams are only as good as their fourth hitter. In the SWBL, you're only as good as your fourth hitter. I still think the Royals' goal should be to win a championship. You guys have 2 of the top 5 players in the league on your team. When Ty's at his best, you can make an argument that he's almost a top 5 player too.
Yeah.
It's been a couple years since he's on that level, but if you all can find that fourth player, Leon, would be great.
Yeah.
But I think for the Royals, I mean, to me, it's championship for us. You may feel differently, but it's got to be. You guys have been talking about for years, well, if we win one, we'll split up. Well, time to put up or shut up. 4 years. So when's it going to happen?
Maybe we'll just wait till season 20. You know, it's a bigger deal. You know, season 20, we'll win one then. You know, we're just waiting, biding our time until season 20. No, those are definitely good goals. And like you guys said, that third and fourth spot's so important. And I think out of all the teams this offseason, I think everybody's got their eye on the Royals the most. Like, what's going to happen with this team? Who's actually going to play? If there's, you know, COVID-19 rules, like Austin and Trent, who's a big rumor to go to the Royals, like they can't come. Like that's, you know, so it's like, who's going to be that fourth spot? Who can they find that's locally in Missouri that can play for them? So they might have to dip into free agency and get some other people that normally they may not go for. So it's going to be interesting to see the Royals offseason, but I think their goal is to win the offseason. Our goal is to hopefully win the offseason. So let's move into the top 2. And the top 2 for our championship last year were the Expos and the Brewers. And both these teams have a light involved. So a Light was going to win a championship no matter what last year. And that was a big thing that everybody was saying. Andrew Light, the third brother, the least well-known brother, who is a league founder, but nobody knows that. But Andrew Light was the 4th league founder of our league and one of the first captains ever in the SWBL. But no championships for the Lights until the oldest brother gets one first, John Light and the Expos. But Peter and the Brewers have constantly been one of the top teams in this league, and you got to believe they have some of the best players. Like you said, Spencer, you know, when you have some of those top talent players, you know, they got to put it all together though. And that's the thing. And it's going to be interesting. Their roster makeup might have some changes here and there, but they always stay true and they always stay consistent. They're one of those teams that consistently makes the playoffs as well. And finally they broke through this year, making it back to the championship. So Spencer, let's start with you. What is going to be the Brewers' goal for 2021?
No, to me, they're very similar to the Royals, except I feel like the Brewers have probably been better than the Royals top to bottom. I think the Royals always had maybe over with the top, I don't know how to say it, but that top line talent maybe had a little bit more. But top to bottom, I think the Brewers are probably the most complete team in the whole league.
Yeah.
at least arguably the first or second one. I think their goal should be the same as the Royals. I mean, to me, if you haven't won, your goal should be to win. And I think they've got the players to do it. I think they've got, good enough defense, hitting, fielding, everything about the Brewers is good. It's, be on that team. I think that their goal should be to win the championship. That's it.
Yeah. And Cam, one of your close friends and your co-founder of MWIFs, and we'll talk about that later on, but your co-founder of MWIFs, Josh Rogers, was on this team, played 3 games for them and did really well. Had a top 10 OPS in our league in his short 3 games, but actually Josh Rogers is still eligible for Rookie of the Year as well, because you have to play in more than 3 games to be eligible for those major awards and to be eligible for your rookie season to count. So he still has an opportunity to be drafted by a team. And if the Brewers are looking for a guy, I kind of double question for you, but if the Brewers are looking for the guy and Josh has proved it, should Josh have a team, or do you think Josh might get scooped up by somebody else? That's question 1. And then question 2, obviously, is what's going to be the Brewers' goal heading into 2021?
Well, that was actually kind of going to be my goal.
Boom. Let's put them together. Yes.
Yeah. And personally, because, he's a really good friend of mine. But yeah, sign Josh. He's, I'll tell you, he's back to throwing. So that's, that's another plus. That's another arm.
Yeah.
He kind of specializes in slower pitch. So that's kind of more up his alley, but he's also become a really good hitter. He, especially in this style, he's got a good bat. So another little personal goal just for myself, if they could lose to the Astros, great. Because, they're 7-0 against us.
Wow.
So that's just a personal goal. Maybe if they want to lose one to us.
There's always those teams out there that dominate another team. Like everybody's got one on that franchise win-loss record. Like somebody always has your number, and Brewers must have the Astros number for sure every time.
They raked me off the field in game 1 last year.
Yeah. And they're one of those teams that can put teams away early. The Brewers can put teams away and they can keep it coming. And then it's just like downtrodden. Like, it's like, well, we're not going to win this game. And then they just pad their stats after that. So it'll be interesting to see what the Brewers do this offseason. It's come to a lot where teams can't really win with 4 players anymore. You have to have those specialized players like you were talking about. You have to have those, players that can fill into different roles. So it's going to be an interesting offseason for the Brewers as well. And, Spencer, you said it the best. I think Brewers and Royals are both under the mindset where they are championship or bust coming up here soon, or who knows, we might see all these teams breaking up here in the future, heading into a fun season 20 we might have. So all right, that brings us to our last team, and this is our longest segment, guys, so we will be moving on to something different in a little bit. But, the SWBL Expos surprise of, the franchise era, you could say. To be honest with you, I will be super honest with both of you and to all of our listeners and viewers. I did not think that this would ever happen. I didn't. And the fact that it did is so exciting for our league. It's exciting in the sense that anybody can win. You can see it now. We've had the same 5 teams in the playoffs every time. And to see somebody break in, the A's broke in once, but to see somebody break in with such a vigor like the Expos did is just a really cool thing to see. And I think it shows a lot of hope for other teams that they can break through too and build that success, because they were awful in years prior. I mean, awful. But when you build your craft and get better, and then you add a piece here and there, good things can happen. So Cam, this has been one of the Astros rivals, so to speak, on the field, off the field. This is a team that you talk a lot of smack to each other. You've both been in the same boat of not making the playoffs. I know it probably stinks that they did it before you guys, but what is the goal you think for the Expos from your perspective as being, you're a rival team against this team and you guys always have good games, but what's the Expos goal for season 19?
And on that too, you just said they are our rivals, and that's true. I'm personally 3-0 against them in my career, but going into that playoff run, I was actually rooting for them.
Yeah.
Just because they've been at the bottom for so long. But my goal for them is, I think, really what kind of really pushed them over that edge, is those bottom bats. And the guys that you don't expect to to come through in a clutch situation. I think they did that multiple times during that run. I know Evan and Germer both had, big hits when no one expected it.
Yeah.
If they can do that, and, because you're always going to have either Brett or Jimmy on the mound, which is ridiculous that there's 1 and 2. That's like me and Caleb at UWIF this year.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. But you have those, those guys that no one expects coming in clutch like that. That's just a hard team to beat.
Yeah. Spencer, you get there on Monday and this team, beat your team the day before, and they're making this immense run where they won 10 games in a row. They won 10 games in a row to win the championship. And they're the second team in our history that won from the wild card spot. Only 2 teams ever have won 3 playoff games, and they did it in back-to-back seasons. The Yankees did it in 2019, and then the Expos did it in 2020. So even when you get the wild card, anything can happen when you get in. But the Expos have consistently been one of the worst teams in the league, and then this year flipped a switch. So what's going to be their goal heading into 2021?
First off, I'd like to say I'm glad they won. I think that was awesome, and I think it's great for our league, just like you said.
Yes, it is.
I think they should have 2 goals in mind. The first one being the most important goal. Not fall flat on your face. It's happened to other championship teams. It's not taking a shot at the Expos. I'm saying your goal should be to be a good team. Or your goal can be to win again. But for me, a goal would be don't go back to the old way. Be a good team. That's my goal. A sub goal of that, they need to hit better. I think we all know that. They pitched really well. They had a negative run differential in the regular season. So the fact that they did make the playoffs with a negative run differential just speaks volumes to how good their pitching actually was.
Sure.
And timely hitting was. But, I think if you go season over season, I think that can only take you so far. At some point, you have to hit better. Yeah. So I would say they do need to hit better. Not revert back to the old way.
Yeah. And a team that was second worst in runs scored and second best in runs allowed in our league, and it just shows you with that negative run differential, it's something we've never seen in this league before. So I think that's a good one for you. My goal, this is kind of a funny goal because we know it's going to happen, but my goal would be make sure you sign Brett Spencer back because you're not winning again without him. So if he's free agent, and guess what? Royals need a guy. So Brett, if you're listening, call me. You never know. Make it run a different way. But I don't think Brett's going to miss an opportunity about defending a title. So I think he'll be an Expo, but I think the Expos need to get that done quicker. They got Jimmy Nelson signed up for 10 years. Where's Brett's contract?
Actually, I think they try to do like 10,000 years or something.
They tried, but I told them there's some rules to this as well. But, I'm sure Brett's just holding out for more Parmesan goldfish or something. So, or Lion's Choice meals, so we'll see what happens. But guys, thank you so much. Going through the goals, kind of a New Year's resolution for each team. Spencer, I'm going to turn it over to you. I know you have a few things prepared. And for those of you that have been avid listeners of the SWBL podcast, you know that Spencer created a segment called What's Your Centage? And yes, it did have theme music and all when we used to do this, but obviously Zooming and video casts are changed up a little bit. But Spencer, you go through and explain what's your centage and then jump right in and we will talk about the answers.
All right. What's Your Centage is brought to you by any of our sponsors that you like.
How about yours? Cardinal Blinds and Shutters.
I was about to say one of our old sponsors.
Yeah, don't say that one yet.
Basically, it's a game that we made up to where I'm going to ask everyone 5 questions. We're each going to answer each question at the same time, one after the other. And I'm basically going to say, what's your centage that it rains during the wiffle ball weekend? And then I would go Cam, and Cam would say, my centage is 33%. I think there's a 33% chance that it rains on wiffle ball week. That's an example.
Oh, man.
We'll go around the clock. Be bold and give us your best answer.
All right, let's
do it. Question number 1. Will, what is your centage that the Expos will repeat this season? Cam.
Say Cam or Sam? Cam.
It's tough. Yeah, that's tricky.
I'm going to say 18%. It's just very hard to do. like the Yankees, it's just tough to go back to back. And I think it's such a competitive league that, it's just going to be really hard to do. But, there's always a chance they got the pitching to do it. So we'll see.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, I am going to say 0% chance that the Expos repeat. And I'll give you one reason why. They can't be mad at me for saying this, because it's never, ever happened where the number 1 seed preseason wins the championship. And I think front office has done this in the past. They've only not done this once, and it was to the Royals, and we lost back-to-back championships because of it. But the curse is going to fall on the preseason ranking, and I think that the Expos will get the curse. I think that they will be pre-ranked number 1 from the front office, and the curse will fall on them. And we just know from history, it's 19 years it has happened. The number 1 seed preseason hasn't won. So you have to go with the numbers, 0%.
Okay. How many teams we have? 9?
We have 9.
What is that, like 11% to each team? I would say, if you're going to judge each team's chances, you got to start at 11%. And do you think that their chance is better than the other teams or worse? And unfortunately for the Expos, I think it's worse just because of the style that they play, not taking anything away. But it's really hard to win the way they play. They could do it again, but I just think the chances are low. So I'm going to give them a 3% chance.
All of us are going to be on their like dartboards, tomorrow, and they're just going to be like chucking wiffle balls at us, our faces.
I think I already am on that. It's okay.
All right. Good one to start.
All right. Sam with an S.
Yes.
We'll start with you. What is the percentage chance that the same 5 teams make the playoffs this season?
Wow. That's tough. I could break in the numbers like you did and try to figure out mathematically what it's going to be, but I'm just going to go with 50%. I'm going to play it safe since I went first. I'm going to do a 50% chance that it's the same. I think it's really tough. I want to say lower. I do. I may want to change it. I'm going to say 49%. 49%. I'm not going to do 50. 49% chance that it's going to be the same, because the Astros and the Yankees are 2 teams that definitely will be there. We're going to have 7 teams fighting for 5 spots for sure, and any of them could be there. I could see the Royals, Brewers, and Expos as top tier teams. I could see them all being in the 2nd tier or lower next year. This could be completely flopped in so many different ways. Sure. So 49.
Sam?
I'm going to say a 1% chance.
Wow.
And that's because exactly what Sam said, the Astros and the Yankees.
Yeah.
The Yankees back and forth each year, so, that easily could happen. The Astros, we were right there. And I got to put faith in us. I think we can break through. So I'm going to put it at 1.
I'm going to give it a 20% chance. Wow. Okay. Number 3, Cam with the C. What is the percentage chance that more than 3.5 players hit at least 20 home runs? And just for general knowledge purposes, the average over the last 3 seasons is 2.5 players per season hit 20 home runs or more. What is the percentage chance that we have more than 3.5, so at least 4 players?
That's tough. I'm gonna say 27%. There's a lot of really good hitters in this league, but the pitching has been really good as well. So, it's possible to happen, but until it happens, I'm gonna side on the lower end.
Okay, Sam?
I'm gonna go 85%. Yes, I'm going to go 85%. I think it's going to happen. When you break it down, that's only 2 home runs per game. I know that teams are, a lot of times teams are starting to bat 5, or they're changing it up and batting some things. So I know that's a bold statement, especially when the numbers are against me on that. But I got to believe 4 players are going to do this. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think that's a really dumb decision, because obviously like Scott Poley would be one of the people, but they might be batting 5, Spencer Bogad, you'd be one of them, but you guys are batting 5. Gus and I might be one of them, but we might be batting 5 this year. So like maybe I'm doing the wrong way, but you got to believe Blake's going to have a bounce back year. You got to believe there's some good hitters that haven't been at that mark, like Peter and Blake in the past, that might get back to it. So hitters got to get eventually. It's got to flip soon. We got to get used to it soon. So hitters are going to come back.
I'm going to give this a 69% chance.
I knew you were going to say that.
Nice number, and nice things are going to happen in 2021.
Okay.
I think we're going to have a non-social distance wiffle ball weekend, and when that happens, people are going to explode with home runs.
Hit the bombs and bat flip.
That's right. I think we may have 10. 10.
Wow. Then you should have been higher than my 85.
We're going to have 5 players. We're going to have 5 players hit over 20, and they're all going to be on the 20. Okay. Next one and last question. We will start with Sammy on this one. A pitcher will have below a 4.00 ERA next season. That has only been done one time over the last 3 seasons with a minimum of 18 innings pitched. That was done by Brett Spencer. What are the percentage chances that happens?
Just one pitcher?
At least one. Just at least one. See?
I'm going with 5% chance.
Yeah.
I think you got to go with the numbers on this one, and you got to believe, if a good pitcher like that, they're going to be pitching in at least 5 or 6 games, and it's tough to have every 5-6 year games to have 4 or less runs average. So I'm going to go 5% chance.
Sam?
Yep, I'm right there with you, Sam. I'm going to go 7.5% chance.
A little bit better because you're a good pitcher and you want to make sure that you have a little bit of a chance. I get it.
Yeah, that's a goal, but no, it's tough. Even as I'm not as good in the style as I am in fast pitch, but even watching what Jimmy did last year, he wasn't even out of that. So it's just tough. It's way tougher to do than hitting 20 home runs. So
yep.
I think it's going to happen. I'm going to give it a 60% chance. Going back to our socially distant
reasoning
that we're going to have.
Yeah.
There's going to be some more beer flowing. And when there's more beer flowing, there's going to be some bats involved. So,
or the pitchers do worse. So who knows?
Yeah.
But I think it's going to happen. I think there's tons of candidates. I think Gus could do it. I think Sam could do it. I think Kyle Cornell could do it. I think Jimmy Nelson could do it. Brett could do it. You could do it, Cam. I cannot do it. But I think somebody is going to do it.
And there was a minimum to that as well, obviously, because there have been people that have been under 4, but they didn't meet the minimum requirement. So yes, it has happened, but yeah. So yes, thank you, Spencer, for doing What's Your Centage and bringing that back for us. We appreciate it. And always a fun segment to do and kind of gets people thinking on their toes too. So guys, we're going to move on to the last SWBL part of this. We have a 4th segment that's kind of SWBL related, but I'm going to go through these really fast. And actually, we're going to do no explanations, or if you're going to do an explanation for yours, make it just like 1 sentence. Okay. So what's going to happen is we have free agency started. Unrestricted free agency has begun, and we have 25 free agents this year. 2 of them have already signed at the top of the year. The Astros have signed Rookie of the Year Cole Layton to a 6-year deal. And then obviously the Expos wanting to nail down Jimmy Nelson with everything they got, did the 10-year max deal for Jimmy Nelson to sign back with the Expos. So 2 of them are off the table. That leaves 23 other free agents. So we actually picked 7 from this free agent list. And we are going to play a pretend game where I'm going to go through all 7 of these players, and you can't sign them to the team that they are going to go back to. So for example, we're starting off with Kyle Cornell. Kyle Cornell is our first free agent. Last year, he played for the Brewers. So when I say Cam or Spencer, you can't sign him back to the Brewers, where do you think he would fit in our league? Where would Kyle Cornell go that would be a piece that would make it successful, a fun piece that you think might fit and just be an interesting, development for our league, or where you think he actually could sign because he might have some close connections there? So Spencer, we'll start with you. Kyle Cornell, 1-word answer, or it's 1 sentence. You can explain it if you want, but Kyle Cornell, where would he go?
Rockies, if he's serious. Marlins, if I'm deciding.
Okay. Cam?
I'm going to say the Athletics.
The Athletics. Wow. So they definitely need a guy, and he would provide that as well. Very good. All right, let's move on. Jackson Crosley. Spencer, we'll start with you every time. Jackson.
No offense to anybody on my team, but he's going to the Twins.
Going to the Twins. Wow. Okay. Cam?
I would say the Marlins.
The Marlins. Marlins,
Yeah,
dude, that would be great to see, I think. Yeah.
And maybe he's a hitter now.
Top hitter on their team.
Never know.
I agree.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting ploy. Maybe some people will listen to this and listen to our advice and they'll actually do it because it might actually happen. So these are good spots to go. Hey, we have Austin Steffes returning. Last time Austin played in this game or in this league, he was an all-star. He played for the Diamondbacks and was the only Diamondback in history to be in the All-Star game. Had a fantastic season for the Diamondbacks. Got named to the All-Star team. A great slow pitch pitcher or medium pitch pitcher for our league, and also a decent bat. So if Austin, let's say, supposedly the rumor is he's signing with the Royals. But if he didn't sign with the Royals, where would he go?
Me?
Sure, Spencer.
Oh, he's going to the Expos. He fits in just fine with how they like to handle their business when they're not playing.
Yeah.
I don't know what I mean.
And Brett doesn't want him hitting off him anymore because Austin's nickname is Brett's daddy.
I think Expos.
Expos. That's a good one. And Cam, what do you think for Austin?
I'm gonna agree, and I'm gonna go to the Expos.
Nice.
And quick little side note, listen to Holy Commutes on Wednesday. I'm with Austin and Trent.
Oh, nice. Wow. All right. Yes. Oh, that's right. Yes. You did the uniform rankings, and I listened to it on my commute as well. Cam, you did a nice job, and it was fun to see those rankings. I'm interested to see where the Monstars will fall. I do not think that we should be like top 3, top 5. I will say that. I'll put mine out there. I know it's not my decision, but there was a lot of good uniforms there for sure.
There was.
So, Spencer.
Hey, what happened to rapid fire?
Sorry. Okay, here we go. Brett Spencer can't sign with the Expos. This is a big one. This is an interesting one. Can't sign with the Expos. Spencer, go.
Rockies.
Back to the Rockies. Cam, you can't say Rockies either.
They need them.
I wasn't. I was gonna go with the Royals.
Royal. That's like a for sure. Actually, that's not a for sure championship. Brett and I were together for many years, and we lost to the Indians one time. We lost to the Athletics every time. Yeah, it was not a good thing with Brett and I together.
Tony Fiorello.
We don't talk about those dark times, Spencer. We don't talk about those dark times. All right, Brian Kenny can't sign with the Rockies. He's been with the Rockies his entire career in the franchise era. Spencer, where does Kenny go? Who needs a left fielder?
I think if you put Brian Kenny on the Astros, they win 6 games.
That's awesome analogy. All right, Cam, go.
I was literally just about to say it. That would be perfect. Our field would be set. We'd be ready to go.
And BK wouldn't have as much pressure to hit on your guys' team, I feel like, for the Astros too.
Yep.
Like he could just focus on what he does best too. All right, now we're going to get to the final two, and the final two are on this call. So Cam, we're going to switch, and we're going to start with you, okay? And you're going to tell us where Spencer and I will be going. So if I can't go back to the Royals and Spencer can go back for the Twins. So Cam, start with Spencer and then do mine. You can do both of us, and we won't even talk, but you can just do both of us for us. Where are we going?
Do both of them.
I'm going to do it as only one of you is going to this team because I'm going to pick the same team, but only one.
Okay.
I would say the Marlins.
Both of us to the Marlins.
Yep. They need along with Luke, they need a great leader, and you guys would fit perfect.
Spencer, where do you think you yourself would go?
Well, there'd be tons of offers. Honestly, I would like to play on the Royals because I think they just need a little bit of playoff championship experience. And I'd love to play with, you and Gus again. I think that'd be great.
All right, Spencer. And where do you think I would go?
That is a tough one, but honestly, I think seeing you and Peter play together would be pretty cool.
Huh.
Brewers.
Peter and I have played together before, and we almost won a championship together. We got to the finals and we lost. But yes, Spencer, I actually was going to put you on the Royals as well. I thought that you would come to the Royals if not. Myself, I would go to the Astros. I think I would want to be an Astro and maybe be that final, batter for them that can maybe fit in and have a nice run as well. Always, Brian, I know me and Brian are close, but also been getting closer to Cam, you and, you know, your brother. So it'd be a fun team to be a part of.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, free agent talk is over. Everybody else, where do you think people are going to go? Is anybody going to sign with somebody not their normal team? I doubt it, but you never know. People have done crazier things. We'll see. All right, guys, our last segment, then we'll get out of here. And we don't have to spend too much time on this either, but we wanted to do something from the national scene. So if you're watching up until this point and you're an SWBL fan, you could probably stop watching now because you're probably not going to care as much. And if on the flip side, we'll kind of put this in a break, whatever time this is, I'll put that into the description for all of you that are in the national scene, NWLA Tournament, or United Wiffle members. We welcome you to the podcast because you probably didn't listen to the first 35, 40 minutes. You're probably going to listen to the last 20 because this is going to be all about you guys. Now, Cam and Spencer, I pitched this idea to you guys to do at the end of our podcast today, not only to bring in more national listeners to our podcast, but also because it'd be a fun conversation. If we scrapped our entire SWBL league and let's say our entire national team, you know, our entire NWLA team decided, hey, let's pick players from either the NWLA Tournament or United Wiffle, and you can pick anybody you want from those two huge tournaments and added them to your roster. So we're going to do a draft between the three of us of 5 players from NWLA Tournament or United Wiffle that has nothing to do with SWBL. So that includes, you know, the Steffes brothers, anybody who's played in the past couple of years. That does not include people like Jimmy Cole or Tyler Flackney who have played in our league, or Zach Artem. You can pick those guys because they haven't played in a couple of years, you know. So if you want to pick Flackney or Artem or Jimmy Cole, go for it. If you want to bring them back, they have a little bit of experience, you can. But since Austin and Trent are current players, can't pick them or anybody from the national scene that we have played with. So no Cole, etc. So let's get going, guys. Here's how it's going to work. Cam, you have been selected to get the first pick of this draft. We are each going to pick 5 players. We are on this team as well as the 6th man, and we can decide our lineup however we want. You can pick people to fit in, you know, left field, right field, pitchers. If you want to get a couple pitchers, who can you build around yourself to get that started? So Cam, you're getting first pick, then myself, and we're making the MVP, reigning MVP from the past 2 years, pick last because he's too good for us. So we're going to have him pick last. So Cam, you are the newcomer, so you get first pick in the SWBL NWLA United Wiffle draft. And I'll tell you this, viewers, this is SWBL rules. So you got to think they got to be good at hanging out, you know, doing some drinking, doing some hanging out. They got to be good at hitting, and they got to be able to slow their speed down for some of these fast pitchers in these fast pitch tournaments. Cam, I've talked enough. Let's get started. Maybe give a little, you know, quick sentence or, you know, no sentence at all, whatever you want to do to your person. You don't have to have an explanation. It's your team. Let's hit it, Cam. First pick of the draft, overall draft. And I'm going to write it down as we go. Go ahead.
All right, this is a tough one. It was back and forth between 2 because I love them both, but I got to go with Caleb Biancaman. I think he's everybody's number one. You know, he's played with us, so he's my 1A to 1B.
You know, Spencer, I texted you guys before this podcast, and I knew who the 3 of us were going to pick. And actually, that was not who I thought you were going to pick.
I know who you think I'm going to pick, and you better not pick him because that's my guy.
I have another pick in mind, but I was mad because Caleb was going to be my first pick. So
I know that's why I did it.
All right, my first pick is going to be one of the reigning players of the year for NWLA, and I'm going to bring in some swagger to the team, and I'm going to bring in some experience. I'm going to bring in Jordan Robles from Mid-Atlantic. I'm bringing Jordan Robles to the SWBL with my first pick. Welcome, Jordan. Home run champion at UWIFs, can smack the ball, and I feel like he's got so much movement on his pitches, he's going to be ready to go for SWBL. Spencer, you're up. Now, Spencer, you get back-to-back picks here. This is a snake draft, so you get some advantage here. Here you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Judas.
Wow, that was gonna be one of my picks.
He was on my list
because obviously it looks like he could bench press a truck. And
he's got a great job
in our league. He can play really good defense.
Really good defense.
And he can hit the effing S out of the ball.
Yes, he can.
So he is my pick.
It's a great pick.
There.
And I cross him off.
I think he'd be fun to hang out with.
Yes, and he's one of those that you really want to come to our league.
Yeah. He'd fit in really well. and I know him, but I don't really know him, you know?
Yeah.
So I think obviously my second pick should be Tyler Flack.
Yeah, that's who I thought your first pick was going to be.
Well, I didn't want to like poke his ego, make him a first round pick.
Want to make him earn it.
That's right.
Yeah, Tyler Flack.
He's got experience in the league.
Yeah.
Obviously, he can do it all. So
Rookie of the year, won a championship with you already, and then the next year went 10-0 with the Royals. Like arguably one of the best records that's ever been done in SWBL. So definitely a game changer for sure. My next pick is actually going to be one of Tyler's teammates, and that is Evan Skibbe. Evan Skibbe is one of the best hitters in the country.
Yes.
And he actually has been told that he looks like a Skibbe, you know? So like when the three of us have been next to each other, it's always been, hey, Evan, you should come play in the SWBL. I think he'll be a great addition to my squad, and I'm ready to sign Evan Skibbe to a deal here with the SWBL Sam Skibbe team. Cam, you're up. You get 2 picks now in a row here, Cam.
All right, I get to pick my my number 1 wiffle crush and Johnny Whiff.
I was already writing it down.
I know, and I wanted him number 1. He's number 1 in the heart, you know.
But you knew I was going to pick Caleb, so that's just strategy on you.
It was.
All right.
Number 2, I'm gonna go with Toast.
Toast, nice.
Yeah,
And I think he's one of those like Jordan. I think he'll put some good spin on the ball. He's already got good spin on the ball, and he's shorter, lower stature. You know, maybe he can get some more home runs that way, like a Mike Boyle situation that we had a couple years ago.
But my main thing to this team, you know, those 4 guys right there, us 4 together, that's a party team right there. We're gonna have a lot of fun, and we'll play well. So you know, on and off the field don't matter. We're just gonna have fun.
That's a solid team. My next pick, guys, I've been excited about this pick, and it's another one that I think I've wanted to come to our league just to have him there as well, but I'm going to add him to it, and that is Kyle Schultz of Major League Wiffle. Kyle Schultz, I'm going to add him. Not only can he help us out with our media, not only can he bring the followers to our team, you know, but Kyle in his own right already pitches at a lower speed limit, and he's very good, and he can be good on both sides of the ball. So Kyle Schultz is my next pick. Spencer, you get 2 picks here.
I get 2 picks. This next pick is based off of what this person wears when they are playing the game of wiffle. And this person started wearing a bucket hat, maybe not because of me, but pretty quickly after I started wearing a bucket hat.
This is my next pick too. You guys keep stealing it.
I'm going to be picking Loftus. You know, I saw a tweet yesterday or today that said free Loftus, meaning like let him hit, let the guy hit. So he's going to hit. He's going to hit on this team. He may pitch a little bit too, but I'm going to have Loftus.
That's a good pick.
My 4th pick, which may be surprising to some people, I'm going to pick Bogad from KWL. I think he'd be a really good pitcher.
That's a great one.
And just by looking at him, I feel like he could slam some beers. Never really talked to him, but we've stared each other down before, friendly, like in the spirit of competition, and I feel like I want him on my squad.
I am so excited for my next pick, guys. So excited for my next pick. And he's going to be someone that is going to be needed on this team to give us a little bit of smack talk. And that is going to be Mr. Chandler Phillips. I am adding Chandler Phillips. Not only is he a good pitcher, he's been surprising everyone with also has a great bat, hit a walk-off home run at UWIFs as well, got experience in both these tournaments. I want to see Chandler Phillips come to this team and get some WSEM blood in there as well. So that's going to be my next pick. So Cam, this is the final. We have one more round to go after this. So you have 2 picks and that'll round out your roster. So your last 2 picks of this draft.
All right. My next pick is going to be Artem.
Zach Artem, bringing him back.
Who actually played for the Astros.
Yes, he did.
So unfortunately, we didn't get to play at the same time, but I've got to meet him, and you know, we got a really good friendship. I keep in touch with him, you know, throughout the year. So definitely had to add him to the squad. My next one.
Yeah.
I think you got something?
I don't want to forget anybody. That's I keep like racking my brain real quick. It's almost like we need to take a break and like I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
You know, someone who's going to be my honorable mention, who I just thought of, would be Tomlinson from WSEM.
Well, yeah.
I feel like he could hit it.
He could kill it. Yeah.
And like,
I know Kyle and Chandler, I was putting a throw up, but Chandler and I have that, that love relationship we have for each other. We talk smack, but he talks a lot of smack to me, but I just give him love back, and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right, Cam.
With my last pick, I would go either one of the McElraths, whichever one can make it. I think in our style, they might hit the ball 10 feet past the Jeep.
Yeah, they would be super good. Like, there's no denying that. Yeah, if it's almost like if you pick one of them, I pick the other, but we'll just put them both on your team.
They're perfect.
You bring them both. They can't play the whole season. Like, they have to split time.
You can kind of interchange them.
Yeah. It's like a Parent Trap situation.
Deal.
Yeah, I'm sure they get that all the time. And I had my final pick in my head, and then I completely lost it. And it was on the tip of my tongue, and I was ready to say it. And then you said Tim and Ryan, and then it threw me off.
Say this with me. If you do this, you'll remember it. Okay. Repeat after me.
Okay.
Unique New York. Say that 3 times.
Unique New York. Unique New York. Unique New York. I do remember. That's weird. Wow. Okay. My last one is Adam Milstead. Adam Milstead is on the Way Too Beautiful team. Me and him, we text a few times. He helps on the National Wiffle Committee as well. And Adam Milstead, I've always wanted to play with him. He had one of the best slugging percentages at Mid-Atlantic this year and played in UWIFs, and his team was pretty successful. Also just a great guy that I've always wanted to play with as well. So Adam Milstead is going to round out my squad. And Spencer, end of the draft, who is Mr. Irrelevant for this SWBL draft?
Honestly, this last pick came down to 2 people. They're both from the same league. I wanted to pick Mippy.
Yeah.
But I didn't. He's a great player, but I was just thinking man, if we won, I could have a really cool documentary made. That would have been my reasoning. But I'm not going to take him. Nothing against him. But I'm going to go with Danny Heck, also known as Grizz from HRL. He's got some championship pedigree. He's a drinker. And I feel like Flackney just wouldn't be himself without his little buddy. So I had to put him on the team as well.
All right, guys, let's go through our squads. Thank you for doing that. And we're going to go through these squads. And what we're going to do is we are going to put this out on Twitter and let everybody decide which team would win the championship out of our 3 teams that we drafted. No, hopefully they know our style a little bit and can figure it out. It's not just fast pitch. It's about who's going to get that medium pitch the best. So let's go with Cam's team first. Cam, you have Caleb Yonkman. You and him, obviously number 1 on the Midwest Monstars, 1 and 2. Johnny Wiffs, Johnny Costa, the MVP of the UWIFs tournament and a champion, national champion. You have Toast, who everyone knows Toast, and he has one of my favorite tattoos in wiffle ball. It's him as a piece of toast with a headband and a wiffle ball in his hand. Zach Ardom, so you're getting somebody with SWBL experience and a fellow Astro as well. That'll be good for the team. And we gave you both the McElraths to change out interchangeably. So it's a good team indeed. Spencer, your team includes Brendan Dudas, who is somebody that we always want to get out here and play. Has the dirt yard. We want him to come see our field, and Tyler Flackney as well, proven champion in our league. Tommy Loftus, who I believe is going to actually be registering for the SWBL. My honorable mention that I was going to say was Dylan Harshaw, who is a fantastic hitter as well for Ridley Park and Maw. And he was on my list as well to possibly pick. But after you picked Tommy, I wanted to change up to a different league. And Mike Hogan, who beat us in our elimination game. It's the first time we faced Mike Hogan, and we got runs off of him. We just did it to ourselves. So congratulations again to KWL. Couldn't happen to 2 better teams that we have so much respect for in KWL HRL for NWLA Tournament. So you have a lot of championship experience here, Spencer, on this team.
You forgot my last pick, but
and Danny Heck, I was getting to it. And Danny Heck, Grizz, as we all lovingly know him, back with the NWLA Dong Show, and Danny Heck. And then myself, I have Jordan Robles, one of the best players in the country in any style, Evan Sivit, Kyle Schultz from MLW, Chandler Phillips from WSEM, and Adam Millsy from one of the most famous teams in wiffle ball, Way Too Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us for the SWBL podcast. We're going to have this little poll on Twitter for fun. Thanks for sticking with us. I know it was a little longer of a podcast, but we haven't had a podcast in a really long time. So, the SWBL people, they don't have to listen to the end, and the national people, they don't have to listen to the beginning. It'll work out in your favor for sure. But if you did listen to this, we thank you so much for your time. And we are so excited for season 19. And again, only 1 year away from season 20. I just still can't believe we are doing this. One of the longest running wiffle ball leagues in the country. Got to be up there like top 3, one of the longest running wiffle ball leagues in the country. And it's always great to see how many people we could see coming to this style and coming to hang out on this weekend, because we love it to be family, friends, and anybody that we meet along the way. So thank you again for all your interest in our league. If you're watching this, obviously you have a little bit of interest, or just you're interested in Cam and seeing him again too. So, but thank you so much. Cam, anything you want to plug, anything you want to say? You want to talk about MOWAs for a little bit or anything too?
Yeah, I'll just hit on real quick. We still need a couple players left to sign up. I think we're right about 23-ish right now. So if you're interested, let me know. Reach out.
Is it really 24 because Chris Metter hasn't signed up yet?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, we still need to,
we're still waiting on Chris.
He said he was going to. So. And
yeah,
Jackson
we got
Crosley,
a couple guys in the works. Yep.
Jackson Crosley's in, Spencer's in, I'm in. So we got some SWBL guys that are coming over, and many people that are also interested too. So
yeah. So if you're interested, just let me know.
Yeah, we're excited for that league. Spencer and I signed up right away. We're really pumped to get some fast pitch experience in St. Louis. Hasn't been there in a really long time. Spencer, anything you want to plug in with? Anything you want to say to the people? All your fans, Spencer.
Just whenever you can, just support small business these times.
Sure.
Eat out if you can, or take out. It really means a lot to them. I know a lot of people own restaurants and they're struggling. So
I know I speak for both of us and all of us when I say, love each other, everybody out there. Be safe, mask up. Let's get through this together. Thank you for joining me, Spencer. Thank you for joining me, Cam, on this podcast. I'm going to stop the recording any moment now, but thank you again for joining us for the SWBL podcast. We got more podcasts coming up here shortly. Holy Commutes is still in season 6. Cam's going to be on it. I'm going to be on it the final week as well. And I'm going to be on 2 days of the final week for the Holy Commutes podcast, announcing some big things, including the finals for the National Wiffle Awards, and also something brand new that National Wiffle is putting into place for 2021. That's going to be a super exciting addition to the world of wiffle ball. So stay tuned for that Holy Commutes. That's my first teaser for it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I'm Sam Skibbe from Cam Smith and Spencer Bogad. See you next time.